Stay tuned. The stream is about to begin.
Damn, Schwazi, I love this beat.
Hi guys, welcome to Cooking with Lavish. This is my very first episode and I am so excited to drop these gems.
Stay tuned. The stream is about to begin.
Click subscribe now to get instant notifications and exclusive discounts. Welcome to Cooking with Lavish. Today's episode, Cooking Through Bankruptcy, a recipe for financial recovery, kicks off a mini-series on Chapter 7 bankruptcy. This will be incredibly useful for those filing pro se, and if you've hired an attorney, don't worry. This info will still be very helpful. Pro se is a Latin term meaning for oneself. In legal context, it refers to individuals who represent themselves in court without a lawyer. To tackle any problem, start from day one. For me, it began in 2020. So for this bankruptcy recipe, I'll use 1 cup of year 2020. On April 1st, 2020, I launched LE Meals, a survival concept born from COVID. It all came together an hour after I was laid off and felt like a true sign from God. I creatively filled my jars with 3 signature desserts, sold out in 10 minutes, and LE Meals became an overnight sensation. On August 3rd, 2020, after selling out daily for 6 months, I formed LE Meals Ltd Co., meeting demand and financial thresholds. Stay tuned for more info on LLC formations. Next, you'll need 4 teaspoons of year 2021. In 2021, LE Meals saw its highest demand, with numerous publications and many regulars. On December 8th, 2021, I hired a CPA to manage the accounting due to overwhelming demand. Next, you'll need a pinch of the year 2022. In 2022, I explored grants and loans to grow the business. With 2 years of tax statements, strong credit scores, and a company vehicle financed, I felt ready to search LendingTree for an LE Meals restaurant loan. LendingTree only connects you to loans, not grants, and shares your info with many lower-tiered lenders like Lindsay. You might not know Lindsay, I didn't either, until LendingTree connected us. Lindsay will be called the broker here. Stay tuned for more on my experience with Lindsay. After LendingTree channels you to a broker, they pull you off and recycle your info to their lenders. This is tricky for small business owners, as I was connected to an investment company called Good Funding or an MCA lender. Stay tuned for more on my experience. On June 21st, 2022, after paying fees to Lindsay and to Good Funding, I got about $9,000 from a $10,000 investment with no credit check, just recent bank statements. It was a purchase on future receipts, meaning it must be repaid if the business is operational and generating funds. Otherwise, it's an ROI loss for both the investor and business owner. In August of 2022, LE Meals officially opened brick and mortar doors. Sales at this location didn't meet expectations, and I faced several financial challenges. I had lease overhead, inventory issues, and most crucially, a predatory contract with Good Funding. I thought they were just an investor with a purchase on future receipts, but they were actually an MCA lender disguised as an investment company. Their contract allowed them to garnish both my personal assets and the LLC and claim ownership of my brand if I couldn't pay. I was also paying a flat weekly rate of $385 to Good Funding regardless of my business's revenue. All things in adverse of a traditional investment. To add to the problem, I found several issues with my CPA who did not have the necessary expertise for restaurant finances. She incorrectly filed nearly $40,000 in tax-exempt client funds, leading to an excessive tax burden for me. As a result, on August 26, 2022, I received a Texas notice of intent to forfeit right to transact business. Despite my CPA's assurances that the issue would be resolved, it remains unresolved to this day. Choosing the right CPA is critical for your business's financial health. Choose wisely. In September of 2022, after struggling to keep Ellie Mills brick and mortar open, I decided to close and assumed Good Funding and I would share the investment loss. However, Good Funding had other plans. They garnished my personal assets and began harassing me with a fraudulent lien and debt collection attempts via mail, phone, and email. Now you'll need one scoop of 2023. On January 17, 2023, I began my master's degree in executive hospitality management at the University of Houston, joining a select cohort in the Conrad and Hilton College. This accelerated online program spanned a year, allowing me to balance my studies with the retransition of LE meals. I hoped the advanced knowledge would help get LE meals back on track. However, on January 20th, 2023, following the notice of forfeiture of right to transact business received on August 26, 2022, the state of Texas placed a lien on my business due to my CPA's failure to adjust tax-exempt client amounts properly. On November 22nd, 2023, I got a notice from Airbnb that they were freezing my funds until I repaid a lien from Good Funding, my MCA lender. Since 2017, I've managed Airbnb rentals independently of LE meals, so this freeze was surprising. Only my CPA and I knew about this Airbnb account, and it wasn't listed on my tax statements. Only my rental property addresses. However, I had given my CPA Good Funding's information to avoid being the middleman for financial details. It's now clear my CPA breached confidentiality by sharing this info with Good Funding. On December 9th, I celebrated my birthday. On December 15th, 2023, I graduated with my master's degree from the University of Houston's Conrad and Hilton College, earning an executive master's in hospitality management, magna cum laude. I also received a certificate in hotel industry analytics and became a certified hotel appraiser. However, after graduating, closing the restaurant, suspending Airbnb rentals, and covering college expenses, my finances were severely impacted and my credit score fell to 459. 4 days after graduating and at the peak of my educational career, on December 19th, 2023, I decided to file for bankruptcy after extensive research. To file for bankruptcy, you must complete 2 mandatory courses. I submitted proof of the first one, Certificate of Budget and Credit Counseling, the same day I filed. On the day you file for bankruptcy, the court system updates all federal and credit bureau systems immediately. Within 2 days, your bankruptcy will show up on your credit report. The second certificate required is the Personal Financial Management Course Certificate for debtors. I filed mine on the second day of bankruptcy to get it out the way. By day 3, after filing bankruptcy, all information, negative and positive, was removed from my credit report. Bankruptcy wipes out everything. You can't keep the good credit history. On December 22nd, 2023, just 4 days after filing for bankruptcy and 1 day after my credit history was removed, my credit score surged by 178 points to 637. However, on December 29th, 2023, my credit score dropped by 69 points to 568 as further bankruptcy adjustments were processed. From then on, while the bankruptcy case was in open status, my credit score continued to fluctuate. Click subscribe now to get instant notifications and exclusive discounts. If you have a vehicle when filing bankruptcy, you'll need to fill out the statement of intent found within your bankruptcy petition packet. The statement of intent lists 4 options: surrender the property, retain and redeem it, retain and reaffirm, aka ride through, or retain and explain your plan. Ride through refers to continuing payments while the contract is diminishing and being discharged through bankruptcy. I initially chose to retain the property and continue making payments. This approach, also called ride through, means that if the creditor won't reaffirm the debt or if the judge doesn't approve it, I can keep making regular payments and maintain insurance on the car if it's financed. To reaffirm your vehicle in a Chapter 7 bankruptcy, you must negotiate with your financer to agree to continue the loan under new negotiated terms. Then file a reaffirmation agreement motion with the court for the judge to approve, also known as grant. So, step 1, negotiate with your financer to keep the vehicle loan under new negotiated terms. Do not allow them to continue the same contract. It is within your bankruptcy rights to strike a better deal. Step 2, complete a reaffirmation agreement outlining the new terms. File the agreement with the court, but remember, you have 40 days from the date of the 341 creditor meeting to negotiate and file. Step 3, attend the hearing for the judge's approval, or the judge may approve the agreement without a hearing. Redeeming a vehicle in a Chapter 7 bankruptcy means paying in one lump sum the current value of the car, not the full loan balance. On December 27, 2023, shortly after I filed my bankruptcy petition, I amended my statement of intention from retain the property and explain to retain the property and redeem it. Whether you choose to ride through, reaffirm, or redeem, you must act within 40 days of your 341 meeting for the judge to consider it. If you're past this window but your case is still open, contact a lawyer or check out my consultation services for guidance. This official bankruptcy timeline from the federal courts shows the breakdown for your vehicle and the entire bankruptcy process from start to finish. In order to properly facilitate a redemption of the vehicle, you would need to follow these steps. Step 1, to redeem a vehicle, negotiate a lump sum payment with the lender to settle the loan at the car's market value, keeping the vehicle and discharging the remaining debt. Step 2, after negotiating with the lender, you must file a motion with the court detailing the agreement. Step 3, after filing your motion, it will be granted or assigned a hearing. Attend the hearing, stick to your motion's details, and let others speak. Stay firm, and your motion should be granted. Next, let's add 3 pints of 2024. On the day that you file bankruptcy, make sure to ask the clerk how to register for the online Pacer account. It lets us access court documents and track case progress online, ensuring we stay informed and manage our filings effectively. It's a key tool for staying on top of your case. On January 7th, 2024, Mercedes-Benz unlawfully repossessed my vehicle during the automatic stay of my Chapter 7 bankruptcy. When my car was repossessed during the bankruptcy, it was devastating. The stress and frustration took a heavy emotional toll, leaving me feeling overwhelmed, embarrassed, and powerless. My car being repossessed showed the power of creditors and the lack of real ownership credit offers. It highlighted how easily your life can be turned upside down during bankruptcy with just one wrong move. So I chose to fight. I had nothing else to lose. After discovering Mercedes-Benz Financial Services took my car, I contacted their tow truck company, recorded the calls, and learned my legal rights. My car was returned on January 9th, 2024, because I enforced bankruptcy laws, demanded its immediate return, and threatened to file a motion to sanction them in court for the 3 days I was without it due to their unlawful repossession. In the next few slides, I'll show you how to challenge creditors in bankruptcy court, secure monetary judgments, and do so at no cost to you. Don't give up. There are options available. These valuable bankruptcy strategies are often hidden from debtors and minority communities while being prized by corporations and the wealthy. I've self-educated on these techniques, and by following my guidance, you can access these hidden opportunities in bankruptcy. Step 1, identify each creditor you plan to challenge. Creditors not listed in your original bankruptcy petition or added later won't be applicable. To take action against a creditor in bankruptcy court, they must be listed in the creditors section of your petition. Executory contract holders are not applicable unless they are listed in both the creditors and executory contract sections. Step 2, document all conversations with your creditor via email. Avoid phone calls or text throughout your bankruptcy process. This practice ensures you have a clear historical record of all professional matters. Never discard this documentation or rely on only verbal agreements. For court, only email correspondence, signed contracts, original documents, or system-generated records are typically accepted. All other exhibits can be dismissed in court as hearsay, and these creditors will throw out that word at any moment to make your evidence inadmissible against them. Here's an example of strong evidence against a creditor, known as an exhibit. On January 9th, 2024, my final demand was that Mercedes-Benz draft and send a document stating what took place and email the letter to me immediately. I refused to get off the call until the email was sent. I also refused their initial refusal to send the document. Never take no for an answer. To build a solid case, especially against powerful creditors, secure evidence in their own words and clearly written on their letterhead. This type of documentation is highly persuasive in court and is generally undeniable. Step 3, you might be wondering why there's no settlement mentioned here. When I say no settlement, I mean don't take calls from creditors' lawyers about settlement offers. Once they see you filed a motion, they might try to bait you with talk of a settlement. Even if they mention settlement, it makes the whole call inadmissible in court, so you can't use any admissions they make against them. I experienced this firsthand with Mercedes-Benz. If you've already taken a settlement call, check out Federal Rule of Evidence 408 to regain control over that evidence by finding the legal nuances. If you're curious about what a settlement call might have included, ask the lawyer to email you their settlement offer. This way, you'll know the details and can start a new email chain if needed. Unanswered emails can then be used against them in court. Step 4, once you've gathered all your evidence, step 4 is to draft your motions. Outline all incidents leading up to the issue and include references to your exhibits throughout. Number your exhibits starting with Exhibit A and continue sequentially through the alphabet. At the end of your motion, include a detailed list describing each exhibit. On February 27, 2024, I filed a motion in the Texas Western Bankruptcy Court against Mercedes-Benz. Here's an example of the drafted motion. Step 5. In addition to filing your motion, include an exhibit and witness list with detailed descriptions of each item and attach all exhibits accordingly. Submit this list with your motion to the court. The court might ask for all exhibits to be emailed before the hearing, but always file them physically to ensure they appear on the docket. In my case, thousands of documents emailed were not docketed, leading to issues with admissibility and inaccurate records. Always follow up with the county clerk to correct any docket errors. Don't hesitate to ask for corrections. Feel free to use this as your template. Step 6. After submitting your motions and exhibit list, wait for the judge to notify you of the hearing date. This notice will arrive by mail, so be sure to update your address promptly if you move during this period. At the hearing, ensure you're fully prepared and coherent. You're almost at the finish line. If your motion is detailed and well prepared, that is your cheat sheet during the hearing. You'll be able to answer questions, pose questions to creditors, and effectively argue your case solely with that cheat sheet. Hearings are often brief, usually lasting 15 minutes to an hour, and sometimes via Zoom. You might find that many creditor lawyers are unprepared and struggle to effectively argue their cases, even for high-profile companies. So prepare for a slam dunk hearing. Step 7. The judge typically issues a judgment within 24 to 48 hours, excluding weekends and holidays. This judgment will appear on your Pacer account immediately, and a physical copy will be mailed to you within 5 to 7 business days. Last but not least, let's talk about the bankruptcy discharge. The discharge ends the trustee's role and sets permanent guidelines for creditors about collection on past debts. A bankruptcy discharge removes your obligation to pay certain debts, relieving you from personal liability and, in some cases, single-member LLC liability, giving you a fresh financial start. On March 29, 2024, just 4 months after filing my bankruptcy petition, my Chapter 7 bankruptcy case was discharged. Even though my bankruptcy case was discharged on March 29, 2024, it remained active until my initial motions were heard on May 7, 2024. The hearing addressed 3 motions, one against Mercedes-Benz Financial Services USA LLC, another against Good Funding LLC, and a third against Melissa Westergaard, Inc., all for violating the automatic stay and causing harm to me. The hearing lasted approximately 1 hour, was held via Zoom, and judgments were issued within 48 hours. On May 8, 2024, the judge granted my motion for sanction against Mercedes-Benz Financial Services USA LLC for willfully violating the automatic stay. They were ordered to pay me the judgment amount within 7 days of the notice. Also on May 8, 2024, the judge granted a second motion for sanction against Good Funding LLC for willfully violating the automatic stay. They were also ordered to pay me the judgment amount within 7 days of the notice. Finally, on May 10, 2024, the judge granted my motion for sanction against Melissa Westergaard, Inc. for willfully violating the automatic stay. They were ordered to pay me the judgment amount within 7 days of the notice. Despite being a fellow small business owner, she faced sanctions, proving that both small and high-profile creditors can be held accountable. This demonstrates that no creditor is beyond reach. It felt incredible to win all my motions against the malicious creditors who tried to take everything from me during bankruptcy. Achieving this without paying a single dime in lawyer fees made the victory even sweeter. Bankruptcy has two closure dates, the discharge and the final closure. While the discharge ends the trustee's roles and sets guidelines for creditors about debts, the final closure, authorized by the judge, updates your credit status to bankruptcy closed with the credit bureaus. This also begins the 7 to 10 year period during which another bankruptcy cannot be filed, and also starts the process of removing the bankruptcy from your credit report entirely within that time frame. After the bankruptcy closure, my credit score immediately jumped 78 points to 646 and stabilized there, no longer fluctuating. This was the starting point for rebuilding my credit. At that time, the only items on my credit report were a single soft inquiry from Navy Federal Credit Union, set to be removed in 2025, and my student loans, which are awaiting an adversary proceeding hearing for removal. Click subscribe now to get instant notifications and exclusive discounts. This show is brought to you by Lavish and Debtor Holdings. If you found this video helpful and have more questions, or if you're interested in alternative consultations, LE Consulting Firm offers various consulting services. You can speak to a live representative as soon as today. Simply call, text, or click the link in the description below for more details, pricing, and availability. LE Meals is relaunching soon. Subscribe today to be among the first to receive updates on our reopening. Visit the link in the description below to join the LE Mills community and stay informed. I'm excited to announce the launch of my new book series, A Book for Books, now available on Amazon. If you're interested in adding these unique books to your library, school, or community, please reach out to discuss wholesale rates. Learn more about the series at the link in the description below. Click subscribe now to get instant notifications and exclusive discounts.